Hello, everybody. We're going to go over equivalent fractions right now, and this is an important part of reducing fractions. You need to be able to simplify or reduce each fraction to its lowest terms before you're done with the problem. And equivalent fractions is the way you do that. You find the smallest equivalent fraction that you can use. So we're going to talk a little bit about equivalent fractions here. And the problem at WAMAP, find an equivalent fraction for 3/5 or 3/5. And then the second problem is find an equivalent fraction for 9/11 or 9/11. So this is actually pretty easy. You just have to keep one thing in mind, that a fraction is kind of a division problem, and it also shows a ratio. This is 3/5, but you can also look at it as 3 out of 5. So 3 out of 5 things, you've got, you cut a circle into 5 equal pieces and take 3 of those, that's 3 out of 5, you've got 3/5. But if you had a circle with 10, cut into 10 pieces, and you took 6 of those, it would be the same as the 3 pieces of a circle that was cut into 5 pieces. And there's an exercise you can do in Canvas that shows the equivalence. Let me just bring it up here. Or maybe I can't. Let's take a look at the more practice sheet. So right here is what I'm talking about. So you've got a circle cut into 3 even pieces, and then over here you've got another circle that's cut into a certain number of pieces, and you can shade those in to show what the equivalent is. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. So how many of these would you have to shade in to make it equivalent to this one? So basically you shade in the same area on this one, and you find you have 3 of these pieces, and each of these pieces is 1/9. So you'd have 3/9, which means 1/3 is the same as 3/9. Down here you have one circle that's cut into 4 pieces, 4 equal pieces. They always have to be equal. And then another circle that's cut into 12 equal pieces. So 3/12 over here is equivalent to how many fourths? And so if you color in this quadrant here, you'll see that 3/12 is equivalent to 1/4. And I'll show you why mathematically over here. We're going to find an equivalent fraction for 3/5 or 3/5. Oops. Okay. So when you have 3 out of 5 pieces, if we multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, you will have an equivalent fraction. So that's true for any number, I guess, except 0, because multiplying these by 0 would leave zeros. But I guess it's any integer, any natural number, so 1 through infinity, and you could use negative numbers too if you use the same sign for each number. But if we were to multiply the top and the bottom by 2, 3 times 2 and 5 times 2, we would get 6/10. And this is one equivalent fraction. There's an infinite number of equivalent fractions to 3/5. If we were to multiply the top and the bottom, the numerator and denominator, by 3, you'd have another 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 5 is 15. And if you were to multiply them by some outrageous number even, say 1,000,000, and the bottom by 1,000,000, you just have to make sure the numbers are the same. You would end up with 3,000,000 over 5,000,000. And that's also an equivalent fraction. So if we were doing a math problem with fractions and we ended up with 9/15, we would have to reduce that before we could submit our final answer. And we would do that by dividing the top and the bottom numbers by the same factor, which would be 3 in this case, to get 3 over 5. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit more in later lessons. 9/11ths, it's the same drill. Let's say we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. Well, we're going to get 18 over 22. So this is an equivalent fraction. It doesn't matter what number, as long as it's not 0. It has to be the same number on the top and the bottom. And that ratio of 9 out of 11 or 9 to 11 is preserved as long as you multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. And that's how to do this problem. Give it a try and see if it makes sense. And if you need help, message me.